Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. This class is going to be a yin class, so a more restorative style of yoga, a more deep stretching, slow style of yoga. So today is still, the theme is still going with the flow. So I want you to kind of ride with your breath. I want you to try and move and transition in and out of postures, almost like air, almost like water. So you're super conscious as you move in and out. You're trying to connect your postures together. And I want you to find that effortless ease in each of the postures. Allow things to come up, but then like a wave, allow them to move on as well. So using your breath as you go. So like I said, this theme is going with the flow. And we can often find during this autumn-winter period, if that's when you're taking this practice, or perhaps if we think of Ayurveda, and you have more of a Vata body and a Vata person, that sometimes when we come into this period where it's a little bit colder, we can often find that our creativity and our way of being, of just going along with the flow and being a little bit more spiritful and kind of enjoying the pace of life can sometimes diminish. So you may feel sluggish, you may feel like you've got poor memory at the moment, or that your joints are a little bit cracky, and you may have pops and air in those joints. So this class is also about, if you are a Vata person and if you're taking this class during autumn and winter, it's a really good opportunity for you to find some flow, find some warmth, and find some movement to really lengthen the body, to bring some calm and soothe the body, soothe your nervous system as well. So with that said, we're going to start with a little bit of movement. We're then going to take some breath work, and then we'll go into our yin series. So we're going to come into a comfortable seat, and this may work for you straight away. You may have a block underneath your sitting bones. You're going to take your palms to face down on the knees, nod the chin into the chest, and then you're very gently going to start to take the ear towards the left shoulder, and in your own time you're just going to start to roll the ear to the right, taking those semicircles, really taking your time, keeping the gaze to face down or closing off your eyes. Moving slowly. Nice and easy. After you've taken that last one to the right, you're going to move back through center, chin to chest. The shoulders are rolled back again. And then keeping your wrists on the knees, you're just going to turn the hands up and then make a fist and really press, as you make the fist, the tops of the hands away from you. And again, hands come up, open the palms, and exhale, make a fist and turn the palms around. From there, just circling the wrist round. Again, if you've got pops and cracks, just experience them. And again, a reminder here that this is a yin practice, so we won't really be getting our heart rate up and we won't be getting so warm. So if you need to put any extra layers on, if you need to make sure that your room is heated or you have candles, definitely take a moment again to just check in to make sure that you've got those layers, you've got socks, whatever it might be, a blanket, you've got your props handy. From there, we're just going to move the legs around, still sitting. Take the right leg nice and long, cradle the left, and then you're just going to take those circles with the ankles, if you can hear the pops and clicks of my toes. And then just using the hands to manipulate the ankle, to feel into those joints, there's any restlessness there in the legs, jumping of the legs, or whether you can just settle them. And then switch sides, lengthen the leg, the left side, right side in. Create those circles both ways. Flex and point the ankle. Feel into the joint. Yourself a little bit of love into the calf muscles. And then when you're ready, move back through into the comfortable seat. Feeling like you've just created a little bit of space in those joints. You're going to keep the palms to face down this time. Close down the eyes. And we're just going to take a very low Ujjayi breath, so that ocean victory breath, as if you were steaming up a window but the lips stay pursed together. The sound is at the very back of the throat. And we're going to create this sound to create warmth and heat and energy in the body, but without taking it too far, so being too much. Hearing the sound at the back of the throat, in the mind's eye. And today, as we take the inhalation and the exhalation, the inhalation is inspiration, and the exhalation is surrender. Inhaling, inspire. Exhale, surrender. Breathing through the nose. Creating the ha, the low ha sound at the back of the throat. Five more rounds. Last round. Bowing chin to chest, just restricting the throat that little bit more. Feeling the warmth that breath has moved around the body. Fluttering the eyelids open. Just drawing the knees in and then just moving yourself around. Bringing the block to the very front edge of your mat. Taking your legs wide with the toes turning up, and you can use that block behind you if you'd like to. You can use cushions and pillows, and you're just going to sit yourself into Malasana. Now if you have yogi squat, if you have this pose, perfect, go ahead. If you would prefer to take a seat, perhaps even your sofa at this point, that you want to just push up against to sit on and take the legs a little bit wider, just to support you and take some of your weight, definitely do that. So we're going to hold here. And this first part, we're actually going to move a little bit in this first part of the yin series. And then we're going to take it into some deeper holding stretches. So when you're ready, fingertips down to the mat, to blocks, to cushions. Elevate the legs. Turn the toes in. Soften through the knees, and then take hold of opposite elbow, bringing your fingertips onto the bony part of the elbow and drawing yourself down. And if you can, straighten the legs, coming more into a forward fold. Definitely do that if you're a little bit better with the knees bent, and it feels better for the lower back and the hamstrings, definitely do that. Release the fingertips. Turn the toes out. And sit yourself back down into Malasana Yogi Squat. Again, use your props. Thumbs at heart center. Shoulders moving down your back. Not really forcing the knees out, just guiding them. And notice if your breath is shortened at any point and you've gone a little bit too far, and whether you can keep the flow of the breath happening. On the exhale, fingertips down to the mat once again. Elevate the hips, walk the feet in or turn the toes in. Soften the knees if it feels good to do so. Take hold of opposite elbow. Coming into that forward fold, dangling. Straighten the legs if it feels good to do so. Perhaps this time you then finally release the elbows and you turn your fingertips, the front of the hand, down to the mat. Release the hands. The toes turn back out. We push the knees wide and we come back down for our final time into Malasana Yogi Squat. I want you to really feel in this squat pose, this last time in Malasana, that your energy, your breath is moving downwards, grounding you. See if you can stay still. Move past any restlessness in the legs. And then for the final time, fingertips to the mat once again, tipping the hips upwards, feet turn parallel. And come back into that dangling forward fold. You soften the knees or you lengthen, little micro bend. Take hold of opposite elbow to draw the elbows down. The head goes nice and heavy. And then again, the hands can just drop with the thumbs gently touching, the elbows rounding, the palms facing up. Holding in this forward fold now. For 5 more long, deep breaths. Without moving too much, just sense where your weight is in your feet. If you need to add a bit more weight onto the toes, the balls of the feet. Notice how the head and the neck feels. Last 2 breaths. Last breath. Release the fingertips. From there, you're going to slide that block through. Lower onto the knees. Yoga squat forwards. And then drop the hips back. Coming to sit into Baddha Konasana or a butterfly pose in Yin. We can take the block if it feels good and take it between our feet. If you know you have lots of movement in your hips and a good forward fold, you can always take your feet on top of the blocks and bow. Or of course, you're welcome to take the block on top of the feet. Round through the back and take your forward fold. So we're going to stay here for 2 minutes, breathing long, slow and deep. And And every time we feel a little bit of a release, perhaps we try and just lower that a little bit deeper. Coming to the edge of the stretch without forcing, without pain. Close down the eyes. Leave your gaze inwards. And once again, try and find a little bit of stillness. Time to reflect. Sometimes it's nice to have the block placed on the third eye, or even bringing your thumbs to that space if the space between your brows doesn't touch the block. Down through the hands, inhale halfway, and exhale, come all the way up. So again, being mindful as we move today. So trying to move fluidly from there, dropping the block just by our side, scooting our bum towards our heels and rolling all the way onto our lower backs. Taking the block, sliding it underneath the hip, the first height or the second height of your block, coming right underneath your sacrum. Tuck the chin to the chest to lengthen the back of the head, and then allow the back of the head to drop onto the mat. Extend through your right leg and allow the right side to just roll out, to become heavy. Just going to take a moment there, and then you're slowly going to bring that left knee into a cradle. And we're going to hold here. Notice where you're holding on. Perhaps in the hips or around the right knee. Shoulders should be relaxed here. And if it feels good, you're just going to loosen. And it's almost like, rather than drawing the knee in, I'm just placing my hands on top of the knee. Aiding gravity. Keeping those shoulders moving down the back. Again, coming back to any internal dialogue. Any thoughts and tensions coming into your mind, just allow them to come up. Notice where you're holding on. Notice where you want to send your breath to. And then when you're ready, you're going to slide that right knee in first. And the left foot comes down. If you need to move the block before we move on to the other side, definitely do so. And then take a moment to extend through the left leg, stretch it long. And then draw the right knee in. And again, we're not trying to really hug the knee in or take a full stretch, we're just landing the hands on top. Our elbows then become relaxed. Slight restriction at the back of the throat so we can hear our breath, and it's a warming breath. And then try to find some stillness, so we're not rocking in and out of the pose. Of course, if you need ankle circles, you can take a few of them. But try and find stillness. And within that stillness, try to go along with the flow of your breath. Try to go along with the flow of your thoughts without placing any more attention on them than that's what's needed. There's no need to get carried away by your thoughts. You are not your thoughts, you're not your mind. Close down the eyes if it feels good. Move your awareness into your body, awareness into your breath. And then when you're ready, the left foot slides back in. The right foot lowers. Lifting the hips, sliding the block underneath, taking the block between the knees, the feet go to the very edges of the mat, tucking the tailbone under and just taking a rebounded mermaid. And you're going to slide your hands around your rib cage. Allow the elbows to fall. Close down the eyes. And I want you to really feel as if you are connected to your breath. And you're riding those waves of the inflow, inspire. And on the exhale, surrender. Inhale, inspire me. Exhale, surrender. Really visualize the wave, the breath of air coming in and drawing out of the body. To release the hands. Just move the block from between the knees again. Ground down through the feet. Tuck the tailbone under. Gently lift yourself back up and placing the block again first or second height this time. Right on your sacrum. Lengthen through the neck, place the head back down. Lifting right leg, and if it feels good to do so, lifting the left leg. And we want this feeling of weightlessness, softening through the knees. And you're just going to take very small ankle circles. And if it feels good to do so, you can lift the hands and just do exactly the same. Rotate ankles, wrists, cracks and pops. Allow that air to move from those joints. And the hands back down. Lowering the right leg. Lowering the left leg. Now of course, if you want to stay in that elevated inversion for a little bit longer, perhaps even take your legs up the wall, definitely do so. From there we're going to lift the block from underneath the back, roll yourself back down again. This time draw the knees in towards your chest. A little movement from side to side, and again focusing on the transition, being nice and smooth here, taking care to be mindful as you lift. So either rolling over onto your cheek and shoulder or rocking up and down the spine until you come forwards. So again, placing the block underneath the seat if you need it. Otherwise, just moving the block to the side. We're going to come into figure 4 stretch. Grounding down through the right leg. Lifting the left leg on top, flexing the foot just enough, and you can guide the foot there. And then just drawing your body upwards, stretching out that left glute, and holding here. Releasing tension from the neck if you need to, and of course you can always come back onto the forearms if it's too intense. Staying there. Moving the left knee down. And of course walking the hands back up. If you need that low Ujjayi breath to bring focus back to your practice, definitely take that breath. You can always be seated on blankets, cushions. Notice any tension building up in the wrists again, and of course you can just move them to support you. And then again, find that stillness, find the stretch. Noticing if you feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit calmer, more connected to your body and more connected to your breath. When you're ready, you're going to take hands underneath the right leg and slowly slide the leg down. Slide the left leg down, just coming into the staff pose, Dandasana. And again, flexing and pointing the toes. And then from there we're going to work to the other side. Sliding the left foot up. Placing the right foot on top of the left. And then holding there. And notice if you feel the difference between your sides. Making sure that the ankle isn't pressing into the bony part of the knee, but you've placed the foot on top of the fleshy part of your thigh. And again, you may find that you need to be on the forearms to start off with. You may even come all the way down. This is usually just a nicer pose just to keep the heat in the body. And again, moving on to the full arm if you need a greater stretch, and just holding there. Turn into your breath and sending that breath all the way down into the hips, especially that right side of the glute. If you have any of those arm moments where the hip just begins to relax, you feel that knee drop, you feel your body just surrendering a little bit more. Perhaps you are able to slide the foot in just a touch to come to edge of your stretch. ready, left hand can come underneath the left thigh and you just take the left leg nice and long. Right leg comes long as well, and again you just take the points. Perhaps some circles around, some inversions, eversions. And then from there, taking cushion blanket, whatever you have, you're going to roll that underneath your knees. We're going to come into our forward fold, flush from the bottom, or perhaps sitting on a block, sitting on a cushion, depending on how open you are in your hips. And if you have any cushion blanket, of course you can also place that on top of the legs. And you're just going to come rounding through the back, palms facing up, taking your forward fold. Take any adjustments that you need to make yourself as comfortable as you can in this forward fold. We're going to spend 2 whole minutes here. And in this forward fold, think about the warmth being created in your belly. Perhaps think about anything that inspires you. And you may find ideas and intentions come up in this fold. Allow them to. Try not to think any more about them, just allow them to surface. Taking that little constriction at the back of the throat again from your warmth. A low Ujjayi breath if that works for you. To bring your focus to your breath. And then send your breath into the area of your body where you most feel this stretch. Hamstrings, lower back, calf muscles. Eyes closed, all the gaze is down. Inhale is inspire, and exhale is surrendering to what is. Inhale being open to be inspired. And exhaling, surrendering to what is. Of course, you can repeat those words if they guide you in the practice. Lowering yourself deeper to find a new edge of your stretch. Inhale, turn the palms to face down and come up halfway. And exhale, come all the way up. Gently bring a little bit of life back in, just moving the knees up and down. Windscreen wiper the legs if it feels good to do so. Move the hips. Again, think about that transition, movement of energy in the body, slow and controlled. From there, you're going to turn the legs around. If you have a blanket, perfect. Perhaps you're even taking this practice on a blanket. You're going to stretch that nice and long out in front of you. Just move everything else to the side so your mat is clear. From there, you're going to lay all the way down, spinning the legs onto your front. Up the forehead just briefly on top. Hit the big toes to touch and the ankles wide. wall of the belly. And then slowly take your right hand behind onto the back of your right leg, your right bum muscle. Circle the left hand around to meet, lacing the fingertips really lightly. Rolling over onto your right shoulder and just drawing those arms away from you, dropping the head down. You can allow the palms to drop. If it feels good, you can slide yourself up, taking the left toes behind you and just moving your arms a little bit further out, and then again allowing them to drop down. So a more gentle version of an open wing stretch. We're still getting the opening through the shoulders, less intense for the chest. Release the fingertips. Two more rounds of breath, deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Release the left hand back over. Roll yourself back round. Draw your hands back out in front of you. Lay your forehead onto the tops of the hands. The big toes come to touch, the heels go wide, lowering all the way back onto your front. Connection back to your breath. And then when you're ready, left hand slides behind you. Notice even just if that alone is a stretch in itself and it brings up any discomfort. The right hand comes round to lace the hands. Drop the hands down as if they were going towards the left hip. Roll over onto your left shoulder, and it might be okay just to stay there, or you can start to slide that right leg up and walk those hands out just enough. Being a little bit active to squeeze the shoulder blades together, but keeping the shoulders down. The right knee can roll out. And of course you can loosen the fingertips, allow them to drop down to the floor at any moment. Really feel like the head and that left shoulder is being supported by your mat, by your blanket, by the earth. Deep breaths. Two breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the nose or out of your mouth. Inhale and exhale. Begin to draw the right hand back over to support you. The right knee can come round and relax. From there, you place the hands out in front and you can turn your head to the side. Big toes come to touch and the heels roll out. And you're welcome to stay here, and this can be approach Shavasana for you. Or again, transition smoothly, rolling around. Perhaps you take a fold in the blanket. You roll yourself all the way around. Blanket underneath the head to supporting. Legs wide in your final restorative pose of Shavasana. Staying here for as long as you can, a good 5-10 minutes. Of course, taking any pose that works for you. I particularly like Supta Baddha Konasana. Just taking a little bit more of an opening through the hips, and my hands just holding the thighs, feeling supported, grounded. If you have any extra layers of clothing, a blanket, use those to wrap around you to keep yourself really warm now. You're going to allow your breath to wash over you on the inhalation and on the exhalation. If you are a very visual person, a creative person, perhaps you are more of a Vata type person, a little bit airy, a little bit spacey. Start to use the colour yellow to draw into your mind's eye now. See its warmth, its vitality, its energy, moving you forwards, trusting in what will be, surrendering and going with the flow. Start to bring life back into your fingertips and your toes. Scrunch the fingertips, make a fist. Exhale, release them. Draw the knees in using your hands and stretch the legs nice and long. Inhale, glide the arms over the head and point the toes. Take a full body stretch, allow the lower back to lift. And on your exhale, walk the feet in. Roll the knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a loving hug. Show yourself some gratitude for coming onto your mat, for slowing down, for practicing a more restorative style of yoga. Taking time for yourself. Either rolling over onto left cheek and shoulder, or if you want to get going, perhaps you're practicing this a little bit earlier in the day, you want to rock and roll yourself up to a comfortable seat. Be mindful as you move. Use the blanket underneath your sitting bones. Come into your comfortable seat wherever you are. Turn your palms to face upwards or Chi Mudra. Long deep inhalation through the nose. Exhalation out of the mouth. Like to stay, carry on with a meditation or a further breath work, definitely do so. Otherwise, draw your thumbs all the way through to your heart center. Inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. Living your life to its fullest, embrace your life with passion, bowing to the divine in each and every one of you and saying thank you as always for coming onto your mats.